live from our studios in Kingstown, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. It's your favorite Thursday night show, Up Late with Sion Marshall. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the host of tonight's show, Sion Marshall.
Good night and welcome to this another edition of Up Late with Sion Marshall. I'm your host, Sion Marshall. Please tell me that that introduction would have you grooving just a little bit, just like bouncing just a little bit, because I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. And I really have to say a major thank you and shout out to what's his first name again? Oh my lord, I can't remember. But you may know him as ZJ Powers of NBC Radio. Kane is his son. I can't remember his first name, but he did a fantastic job voicing that for me, and I just love it. I love the track that he put to it. Fantastic stuff. So, hey, if you're watching this and you're one of those individuals who are engaged in whatever type of marketing and you want your voiceover done, you could always check Kane. Now, for all my other friends who are in radio and hear me bigging up Kane and figure I didn't mention your name, well, you didn't do my voiceover. So people like my buddy Danny Collins and my brother Earl Abbott and all of the others, lots of love to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Kane. So good evening again and welcome. This evening we have a really good program lined up for you. We should be joined in a little bit by the talent manager, the senior talent manager for the women's team, West Indies cricket women's team, Miss Anne Browne-John. She should be joining us in a little bit in studio, and we'll be chatting with her about the tournament, the current West Indies cricket tournament that's going on, the female tournament that's going on right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the lights. Had a game last night. There's a game tomorrow, and the finals is on Sunday, or the finals are on Sunday, or the final match is on Sunday. And so she'll be talking a bit about that, as well as about the development of women's cricket in the region and globally. So we'll be joined in a few minutes by Mrs. Uh, Browne-John, and we'll chat about that. But just a few housekeeping matters. Now, you saw me make the really big announcement yesterday that starting this evening, you would now be able to call our show and interact with me here in the studio. Yes. The number is being displayed right now at the bottom of the screen. So if you're looking, you'd see it. The number is 532-7650. That's 532-7650. It's a WhatsApp line for now. So you just need to add it to WhatsApp, give us a call, and we'll be able to interact with you. Now, tonight, after chatting with Miss Brown for a while, Miss John, we would be opening the lines for individuals to engage if they so wish. And tonight, the first person to get in a call would win him or herself a beautiful, really exquisite Uplift with Sion Marshall mug. So this is your chance to win a mug. All you have to do is be the first person to call and interact. Now, listen to me. You're not going to just call to say, oh, I name so and so, and I call and I win a mug. No, no, no. You're going to be calling to engage and interact, maybe ask a question, make a comment based on discussion that we have been having tonight. All right. So please, as you stay tuned, and when the time is right, when you get the cue, you would be able to call if you so desire. I know a lot of individuals like to comment, post their comments and so forth. So you can do that, but you would also be able to call. The number 532-7650. If you notice, I'm looking at the screen every now and again, it's because I don't know the number to my head. Because I just get it, right? Okay. Now, as always, I'm going to ask you to share the live. So I'm going to do that now. Good night, Faye. Thank you so much for logging on. Please share the live. And I'm going to share that right now. And I'm asking you to do the same as well. So that's shared. I've shared it. Now it's your turn. Hey, Richard. Oh no, that's okay. Because I was wondering, like, how is Richard up? Why is Richard up, right? So he's not actually up. That's an old post that he shared. So I'm sharing. I'm still sharing. So please be with me and bear with me as I share. I'm still sharing. Yes, this one. I'm sharing the live. I'm sharing the live. Huh. So please join me and share. Where are we now? That's me here. That's me here. That's me here. I'm getting there. I'm much better at sharing the live now, especially on Instagram as an Instagram story link. Right there you go. Paste. Done. Alrighty. And it's shared everywhere. All right. Good. So that's shared. I'm still monitoring. Director, everything set? The audio and everything is good? Thank you very much. My director says everything is good. Um, okay, right. Now, on Sunday, don't forget we do have the Sunday SETI program this Sunday afternoon at 4:30. Expect a fantastic program of Sunday SETI because I'll be having a special guest who's my relative, my relative. And I'm speaking of none other than former Football Federation president here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Louis Daisley. He'll be my guest on the SETI on Sunday. I've always thought that if anything, I should really have his wife and not him because his wife is so much more Vincentian than he is. Uh, Jamaican by birth, but loving St. Vincent and the Grenadines, really exploring St. Vincent and the Grenadines, doing a lot of content about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so maybe I should have his dear wife, Elaine, on the show and not him. But this Sunday, we'll be sitting down with Louis Daisley, Bernard Louis Daisley out of Stubbs, a former Football Federation president here. And we'll be chatting with Louis a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of no, well, none of that, according to Fireman. Hennessy and Johnny Walker Black, no, just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. All right. So that's what will be happening this Sunday. So please don't forget to tune in to that program this Sunday. Uh, it promises to be an exciting program where we chat with Louis Daisley. So that's what's happening. The house cleaning matters. As I said, tonight we have with us Mrs. and I'll get the clarification. I forgot to get the clarification when I spoke with her. Um, I am getting a direct. I'm getting my good friend Kojo. Thank you so much for joining and welcome. Yes, we're talking cricket tonight, and because you see Kojo, it's cricket, but it's in its context. You realize that we've just spent millions of dollars on upgrading Anna's Vale. We just had the VPL T10 concluded, and now we're having a regional tournament, the West Indies tournament, female, being held here under the lights as well. And to me, that's significant. So as we cover cricket, as you say, only cricket, we look at how the infrastructure that our country now boasts is able to accommodate this. A year ago, well, 2 years ago, we couldn't do this. Okay, we couldn't do this 2 years ago. But it is because of investment in sport and infrastructure why St. Vincent and the Grenadines is able to host World Cup, a series with Bangladesh under the lights, and now uh, a regional tournament, West Indies tournament. And to me, that's significant. So I think that needs some coverage, don't you think? It's almost strange hearing us ask and hearing us talk about cricket do this. The next thing I would look forward to is possibly the lighting of the Sir Vincent Beach Athletic Stadium, where and mind you, if you remember, that stadium is supposed to host a full length FIFA certified football field in the center of it, so that very soon football matches like we had recently St. Vincent and Grenadines versus Jamaica may not necessarily be happening at Anna's Vale, but rather at St. Vincent Beach out at Diamond. And Anna's Vale could possibly be something exclusively for cricket. You never know. And that speaks to infrastructure development and investment uh, in our country here. And to me, that's something that we must talk about, because it to me paints a bigger picture of what is happening here in our country. And this transcends politics, because as I would like to tell you now, when you went to the VPL, everybody was down at VPL. And at that point, during those matches, and on the final weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, nobody down there was bothering who was red and who was yellow, save and except their team was orange or green or blue or whatever. Mine was blue. When St. Vincent played Jamaica in football, people came out, they supported. So these developments are national developments, and I believe that, put in its proper context, Vincentians would be able and ought to be able to appreciate the magnitude of the development that our country has seen, especially in the area of sports. And we can then look at how we can continue to develop the infrastructure to do even more than we're doing, because that's the plan and that's the whole idea. All right. So tonight we're chatting with, as soon as she joins the studio, we'd let her in. By the way, would anybody like to take me up on the offer of the mug? Just oops, sorry. Just give me a call, and I'm trying to get the comments. I don't know why I don't get the comments. Yeah, right. Just give me a call. The number on WhatsApp 532-7650. While we wait on our guest. Seems that we have a call. So let me take that call, uh, and let me see who our first caller would be. And you're going to have to identify yourself because you're the first caller. Caller, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
You have to turn away because I'm hearing feedback. And I think
It's Latoya.
I was about to say, I immediately recognize this voice. I know who this is. You were asking me for that number since last night, and you made sure that you are our first scholar. So, Latoya, you are our first scholar. I want to personally hand you that cup tomorrow. So I'll meet you at Phil, and I will personally
Yes,
deliver.
I'll
And
be at Phil before I go to cricket.
what time is cricket?
The first game is 10 a.m., the second one is 2:30, and the third one is 7 o'clock.
So which game are you going for, Toya?
The 10 a.m. and then the 2:30.
Okay, so you're telling me basically that I have to be in town at Phil before 10 o'clock?
Right, so I'll meet you in town before 10 o'clock.
Jeez, you. Lord have mercy. All right. You trying to really, but no problem. You are
Right, so I get a drink out of your cup at cricket.
just, just don't break it because it's ceramic. So please do not break the cup.
I
Okay.
won't.
All right. Thank you so much for being the first caller, Toya. Really appreciate it. And you're essentially a tester. So have a fantastic night, and thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, you take care.
All right. Bye bye. All right. So our, our platform is working well. I hope the callers, I hope the listeners could please indicate how clear the call was, and let us know the feedback. And we know we're doing some big things. So those of you who are watching, when you tune in on Sunday, as we chat with Louis Daisley, you'd be able to call. You'd be given an opportunity to call, chat with Louis, ask him questions and so on. And oh my word, chat with him and so on, and really engage him on our program on Sunday setting. All right. Now, just to let you know that Mrs. Browne-John did indicate to me that she was finishing up an urgent meeting. As I said, she is the senior talent manager for the women's team, or the talent manager for the senior women's team of Cricket West Indies. And so she's here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as part of the competition, and she would be joining us this evening. Sharissa, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you good, wonderful people who are joining us, sharing it live, don't just keep it to yourself. All right. Thank you very much, Nerissa. I appreciate that. The calls are, so we're in business. We're in business. All right. Nerissa said the call was clear. We're in business. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So going forward, there will be lots of interaction with myself and the viewers. I mean, I know a lot of you like to have your comments back and forth and so on. That's fine. Write your comments on Facebook. I appreciate that. But also now being able to call and engage one on one, whether it's with me hosting the program or uh, guests that I may have, I really look forward to that engagement. All right. So congratulations again to Latoya for being our first caller and being the winner of this exquisite mug, uplead with Sion Marshall. And she plans to have a drink. Boy, listen to me. Anyway, because she drop it and break up the handle. That's all problem, eh? Okay, she hold it like Asians, without the handle. So she knows she can better that. All right. Okay. Well, maybe on Sunday, Sharissa, when you call first, you could win your mug on Sunday. Maybe on Sunday, you tune in late tonight and make Toya beat you. So maybe on Sunday, you'd be able to call first and win yourself a mug. All right. Keep sharing the live. Mugs are there. Mugs are there. That's my sister right there. Mugs are there, so don't worry. You safe. Only $25. Right. Um. So yes, we're waiting on the talent manager for the senior women's team. But in the meantime, like I was saying a while ago, we have to look at what is happening at Annisvale, at Cumberland, at South Rivers, at Sir Vincent Beach Stadium in its broader context. You look, for example, at the fact that more athletes are okay. Let me not speak definitively on that, and I guess because people like Khalil Kato and so on might be able to pull it back and say, no, see, and it's not more. But you see individuals making the character times and going to character and doing well. We haven't been able to match Trinidad or Jamaica or Bahamas just yet. But I know our athletes have gone forward and have done creditably or credibly well at character games. We saw our very own Shafika Maloney doing well at the Olympic Games, coming in the first four, and also Mr. Roban didn't qualify for the final, but again going very far into the heats and so forth. And we could appreciate that while talent is important, it is also important for you to have facilities that are able to harness the talent along with proper training, proper coaching, proper diet, and so forth. And so, regardless to how you look at it, how you may dice it or slice it, the facilities are important. Now, a year ago, it's me now. A year ago, we were not able to host uh, cricket games or any games for that matter on the lights at Annisvale. There are some fields that are lighted. Calico is lighted. I believe there's some lights at Brighton. Um, Chili Plain Field, I think it's lighted as well. There's some lights there. I or because I remember seeing some football there, but I'm not sure if they were makeshift lights. So I again I can't speak. I can't remember what it was. But there are a number of facilities that are lighted, right? And the latest one is Annisvale. But that's also the major one, the one that hosts global events, international events. Good night, Bernard. And so the lighting of Annisvale a year ago, just under a year ago, to facilitate the Cricket T20 World Cup was quite an achievement for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Vincentians went out there and really supported Cricket World Cup, the T20 Cricket World Cup. Now, I remember my good friend Jomo Thomas making the point about the investment in cricket and that our country wasn't hosting as you would refer to the big guns, the Australians and so forth. But while that was so, Vincentian still went out and really supported the World Cup, the Bangladesh team and so forth. Exactly, Kojo. And he's saying that we're creeping, but we'll start making steps soon. But those are some pretty good strides, in my view, that we are making. So Vincentians went out and really supported the teams that were here. As a matter of fact, I was in the UK at the time, and I looked on and saw that there was a lot of support. Josh, good night. There was a lot of support given to the teams, even better support, in my view, than some of the islands where the West Indies cricket team played. And that to me was an interesting phenomenon, right? So even though some were of the opinion that, listen, we now having the big guns playing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're spending so much money, the dance may not pay for the light, as we like to say. Vincentians really came out and supported our team, and supported our boys, and supported the tournament, and supported the West Indies cricket and global cricket in a meaningful way that showed, listen, we are here, and we are a force to be reckoned with in terms of hosting of games. Buddy, good night to you as well. You know. By the way, partner, my good friend who from Barracks, I say this to you now. A week ago, just over a week ago, I saw Marco for Bunyan, who came home for Bunyan's funeral, and I hadn't seen Marco in over 20 years. It was really, really good to see him. All right. Gemma, good evening to you as well, and welcome to the show. Please, I ask all to share the live when you come on. All right. So even though some are of the opinion that the dance camp of delight, that the investment of millions of dollars to host quote unquote second rate teams in the tournament, not the big guns, not the big boys, um, it wasn't justified. I believe that we justified it in the way we supported cricket as Vincentians, as a people, and the foreigners that came in really enjoyed it, and really were able to be a part of the spectacle that was the T20 World Cup hosted in the Caribbean. And then following on that, you had the Bangladesh team here in December taking part in the series. Again, three matches here. We lost all three, but again, Vincentians really went out and supported the West Indies team, even though we lost the matches here. This year, what did you have? You have you had the Jamaica national football team coming here with big name players. Michael Antonio wasn't there, but you had Bailey there, you had Bobby Cardovary there, you had these professional players coming here, taking on a young St. Vincent Grenadines team. And again, you saw the Vincentian population out there in full force supporting their team. Hearts broken in the last couple of minutes as we drew a game which should have been won by us, and that would have been something had we held on for the win. But coming to the end, the Jamaicans were able to score and really broke hearts there. But this was done on the lights. We were able to go out there a Friday evening and watch football under the lights at Arnotsville. Again, something that we couldn't have done a year ago. VPL came, most of the tournament was done, as you know, in the morning and mid afternoon. But the final weekend, again, on the lights. And now the regional tournament, and my good friend Narissa, who's logged on, has taken in quite a number of the matches and so forth. And she says they're good matches. She's enjoying the matches. I've not been able to take in any of the matches. I'm hoping that this weekend I'll be able to at least take in the final on Sunday, and maybe something else. But at least I'm able to go there and take in some of a match or two, and really be a part of the excitement that is West Indies cricket, and in particular female cricket in the region. Now, Mrs. Browne-John should have joined us already, but she did indicate that she was tying up a meeting, and she hasn't joined us yet, and that's fine. So I'll just carry on, and if there's someone who wants to call and contribute, I see you guys are so used to type in your comments. So you type in your comments, that's fine. Keep typing your comments and so on. Keep sharing the live, but don't forget you can also call on WhatsApp 532-7650. For those of you outside, don't forget to add the area code 784. So that's 784-532-7650. Give me a call and we can chat a little bit until our guest arrives. And that's, of course, totally up to you. But you see the growth in women's cricket globally. and in our region, there are some names that jump out to you, DeAndre Dottin and so on. Of course, the current captain, Haley Matthews, a really, really talented individual all around the bowling, batting, fielding, really has the command of the squad on the field, really understands leadership, and you know, is doing a fantastic job in first of all representing the region, but also I believe in inspiring other young women to get involved in the sport of cricket. And the fact that we have a full tournament here, 6 teams. The last time I checked, I believe the Winwards was languishing somewhere in fifth place. Um, so that's where they were. But you have a full complement of teams, Winwards, Leewards, and so on, the 6 teams, and that full competition happening right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Games being played during the day, mid afternoon, and in the night on the lights. I believe there were games last night. There are no games tonight. There's a rest night. I believe tomorrow night there'll be games, rest night on Saturday, and the final on Sunday. You know, yes, Kojo, that's what I'm saying. It's a WhatsApp number. So call WhatsApp. It's 784-532-7650. It's a WhatsApp call. So call WhatsApp. For now, it's only WhatsApp. So if you call the number directly, you wouldn't get into the show. You have to use the WhatsApp platform and call or show, which is easy for everybody because a WhatsApp call is essentially a free call once you have data or you have Wi-Fi. So jump on the phone, put in the number, give us a call, and let's interact as we wait for our guest, Miss Browne-John, and Browne-John, who is the talent manager for the senior women's team of Cricket West Indies. So that's where we are, and I believe that all of us, all of us as Vincent Jones, must be really excited, really, really excited to have what we now have. You know, we've looked at cricket across the globe. We've looked at cricket across the globe, and whether it is, we're in Australia or in England or whatever, whether it's the IPL or what have you, we see uh, cricket played on the lights, and I'm sure we must have wondered what that felt like, the excitement. I think, as one cricketer was into me, well, the guys who were on recently, it does something to you. It's a different atmosphere, you know. Um, in the day, you have the sun that's scorching down on his skin and just really beating down on you. In the night, it's a lot cooler. There isn't that discomfort of the hot sun, you know. Um, so it's a different vibe, and imagine people are able to, like was the case with the VPL, people are able to okay, people are able to go home from work or what have you, Sunday, go to church, come back, relax yourself and so forth, and then get ready to come to the park to watch a match at 9:30. I mean, well, it was supposed to be 8:30. That was something else. So it was a family event essentially. You saw people of all ages dressed in their cricket gear, well, not gear, but their replicas, come out to support their team. Right? I know years ago, years and years and years ago, when I was involved in basketball in North Leeward, I remember the first time we threw off a bit of a competition with help from some guys, Sky Force and so forth, Cleophas Glynn and Vincent and those guys would come to North Leeward and do some coaching clinics and so on. And so we did a competition at some teams. And I remember that weekend when we were having the final on the lights, guys like Ezran Thompson, Saka they call him, and so on, and others, they wake up thing with some fluorescent bulb and so on around the court for us to have a night match. It was something, it was incredible. And people, the villagers, Peter Budell and people from Chatterbilly and support came over and really supported that tournament and the finals that we had. My team came second. We were beaten by Fireman and his brother Paradise and so on. The other team, I had a team, and My team came second, lost in the final. But people really came out that night and enjoyed. I mean, we could have had the city ball, in all fairness. Because, yes, we put some lights around the court, rig up something with some fluorescent bulbs and so forth, and we did the best we could. But I remember going on, and a ball came at me, and it hit me straight in my chest because I really couldn't see the ball very well. And plus, I mean, I was wearing glasses, so you understand what I'm talking about. You know? And then later on, I remember that the pretty little hard coat got lighted. They put lights on the hard coat. Not sure what happened after that, right? Um, you are all right, good. I'm happy. I'm happy, Latoya. I'm happy for that. So um, lights make a difference. Lights make a difference. The fact that you're able, the fact that you're able to uh, um, come out at night in the cool with your family after work and so on a weekend, it makes a difference. And so, apart from the whole allure of international games being hosted and all of that stuff, which is what we love, absolutely. The social dimension where we can enjoy the facility as a family, that is also something that I don't want us to lose sight of as Vincentians, because you saw it on full display at the VPL. All right. So let me just read this comment from Mr. Laborde. He says, "My brother, believe it or not, from where I am in Antigua, I call what I have seen there growth and development with international standards." This is somebody who, as um, he says, we neighbors. We grew up little boys in barracks, Village Chateaubriand. He went off to Antigua. He's a senior police officer there and so on. Has done fantastic for himself. So he can compare. He can compare what he left in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and North Leeward when he left, and what he has seen now, what he is seeing now. My partner Marco, who came, could talk about what he saw when he came compared to what he left a couple of years ago. And if you are honest, you'd have no trouble but to recognize the level of development, the level of growth, how far St. Vincent has come over the years. And it's, yes, or ambition or hard work or sacrifices of people. But let me be real now. All of that, because we were always ambitious, we always worked hard, and we always made sacrifices. But there was an era where the opportunities weren't as abundant. So Laborde and a bunch of others, Gemma and Jill and people would tell you how houses were built. I met a gentleman today, retired senior police officer, who said, "Listen, I was only able to build my house when I was close to retirement. So I'm still paying a mortgage." And when he told me what his retirement, what his pension is right now, crazy. He says, "No, people are able to get 100% mortgage." I never had that. I never had that. And I think it would be almost indecent of us to not recognize. Let me read this. With the upgrades of Annisville came the upgrades with the upgrade of. Yes, my director decided. I don't know. I shouldn't be reading, so he just took it off the screen, and now I can't get it back. With the upgrades to Annisville came upgrades to Annisville too. Sandhill, Cumberland, Park Hill, and many more. Not just for cricket, but for football and track and field. Excellent. Right? It would be almost indecent for us to not recognize and acknowledge the fact that the opportunities that are available now have made our hard work and sacrifices and ambition realizable. We're able to realize so much more. Right? I didn't see that one. So we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that. With everything that's going on, we have to acknowledge the fact that our ambition or hard work or sacrifice can now be put into something tangible because of opportunities available. All right. Yes, Carver. I know it's. I know it is. I know it is. As a matter of fact, I was when I was talking to Marco, I was telling him that me and Carver shot all the time. I said Sally's supposed to be in the states, but Carver did not take her. So I know what I'm talking to now. I know what I'm talking to. But I can say Mr. Labo, that's all right. I'm no problem. Should it be inspector or superintendent? Why is it now? Anyway, my director is suggesting that we take a break, so I'm going to do that now. But your mouth man tell me take break. And now me say take break. You had put your hand up in the air like it's a blessing. I put my hands up high, whining low. I don't understand what's going on. Eh? If there's a Richard, I'd run it. If the Richard is there, you could run it. It's not them. All right. Let me pour myself something out. Look how me look panting there and so on with me. Have me hand up in the air and so on. Okay. It's me talking to me direct today. All right. Pour that out there. Yes. By the way, the I got maybe Mrs. John saying that she's unable to make it. Let's see, Ingrid there. I am here. Is Miss Okay? I'm being told that they're on. Huh? I am just confirming. Um, we are no. Okay. Something is wrong because my guess is in that she's on. Okay. I'm telling her that it's backstage. Just give me 2 seconds there, please. I'm not seeing. Okay. Hmm. Uh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. My guess is saying that she's backstage, but I'm not seeing her. Um, okay, so let's try that. All right. Sorry about that. My viewers, I am trying to sort out my guest. I'm not sure what happened with the link I sent. Okay, no. Okay, so there was probably an SU, but we should be. Yeah, Jill, I'd love to go commercial, but I have no commercial. Apparently, nobody advertise with me. You understand? Okay, so I need to get some ads lined up. I was trying to get some videos, but yeah. So sorry about that. I really apologize for that. Okay, so let's see if this time Mrs. John Brown, is able to connect with us because I sent her a new link. All right, and we talk. It's a little. Yeah, I know she was a bit busy, so at least even if we have for 20 minutes, I will make full use of that 20 minutes. I hear that. He's definitely on now. Let's bring our guest right into the show immediately and say welcome and good night. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay. I'm great.
Thank you so much for making the time. I know You're very busy. I know you have a heavy schedule. So I really appreciate you making the time with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, now, is it Miss or Mrs.? Because I don't want to.
Well, it's Mrs. Anne Browne-John, but Anne is fine.
And it's fine. All right, good.
Okay.
So tell us exactly what the talent manager for CWI senior women's team, what that person does.
Okay. If you know, in the previous setup, we used to have like selectors, a lead selector and another selector. So I was in the position originally of the lead selector for women. In the last year, the portfolios have been revised, and now the position, there's a position of a senior talent manager for women and a senior talent manager for men. And the talent manager works very closely with the senior head coach to um, ensure that we have not only a cadre of players, but we have a depth chart on the players. So at any given time, I can advise the coach that these are the players we have available. This is our depth. This is the depth that we have. And therefore, I have to collate that information that when the coach and I meet to basically to shortlist a team, if the team is going away on a tour, to shortlist 15 persons, that I am able to produce all the necessary information on the players, on their fitness, their skill level, if they have been working, what has been happening with them. I'm able to do that. Now, there are also some other persons who work along with me. So what the new system also has in the 6 West Indies territories, the territories that are part of CWI's board, we have a talent ID manager, a talent ID officer in each of these territories. And then also in each territory, we have 2 pathway coaches, a male and one with specific responsibility for male and one with responsibility for female. So it sounds like probably maybe it sounding a whole convoluted thing, but it's not. It is simply that we have the pathway coaches who would feed information to me. The talent ID managers will also feed information, and based on that information that I have, I am now able to be informed. And when I sit with the coach, we can make informed decisions on selection. There's the one change from what there was previously. The we select If we select a squad of 15 or so to go away, the coach now has the responsibility for the senior team to, to have the final say. If, we are trying to determine between 2 players, the coach has this final say. And then once we are finished with that 15, the coach now has the say on the 11 that plays on a match. That's for the senior setup. And then once we start to go down to the age group teams or the A team or emerging players, then the senior talent manager, which is the role I am in for women, then I will have a lead role in that setup. So I hope I've been able to explain it clearly to you.
Definitely. And I'm sure our listeners are much better informed regarding the role that you play. So let's talk talent. How do you and the team and I guess individuals across the island, how do we go about, first of all, harnessing, developing the talent that we have so that we can produce more Dottins and Matthews and so forth across the region? I've always heard that we have raw, naked talent, but a lot of time that talent isn't realized into real potential. What is happening now with this new setup to ensure that we're able to capture that talent from a young age and develop that talent so we have sustained, continuous talent coming through?
Over the past couple of years, CWI has definitely placed a lot of emphasis on the growth and the development of young female players. It has been said that women's cricket is one of the fastest growing female sports across the world. And here in the Caribbean, it is also taken very seriously. So we have had for a while now under 19 girls tournament, where this basically was the area that you got a lot of the young players from the under 19 tournament. and I'm not sure if you're aware, but over the last couple of years, CWI has done a number of things. One, they first had put 15 female persons on contract, and then they complemented that as either 2 or 3 years ago by putting another 15 academy players on contract, which were they focused on young persons 23 years and under, and they were on contract. And then this has been further extended this year by another 14 players being on regional contracts. So there are now that's 44 persons who are females who are on CWI contracts. So we have that. That is the first part of the development because, as I said, the academy persons are, we make sure that they are young persons who are developing. And then we have the under 19 tournament that is held yearly, and it's normally in July. And therefore, we are able to see girls at the under 19 level. And then we are all excited about the fact that from next year, CWI has also put in place where they're going to be starting a under 16 girls cricket tournament. So from last year, it was the only countries were told. The countries have started this year to prepare under 16 girls. So we will also have under 16 players. To complement that, we also have some tours, bilateral tours, or we have also had some. The team has also participated in a try series a year or two ago. I'm talking about our young players, the under 19s and the emerging players. So I have seen the schedule for the upcoming year and a half, and it's really exciting for me to see the amount of camps, tours, series that are in place for not only under 19, but academy players and emerging players. So I think we know that we have had a number of players in our team for a while now, and some of them are starting to go out of the team. And therefore, it was imperative that we find that next set of players coming through. And I think these are the plans that are being put in place now to get those players up to the international standard.
I want to continue a little bit on this vein before I come to the tournament here. You talked a little bit about female cricket being the fastest growing female sport globally and also in the Caribbean. What have you noticed in terms of a shift in attitude towards female sports and cricket in particular? Do you find that, is it your experience that more females, young girls, are willing to come forward and play cricket as a sport, take up cricket as a sport? Do you think that that support and encouragement is there from family? Or is it your experience that there might still exist some stigma in the issue of female sports? And how do you find the support in terms of crowd support being for female cricket?
Um, See, and I'll tell you that when I was playing and I was much younger, there was this stigma attached to cricket that it was a male sport. But I think we have gone way past that now. Women's cricket or female cricket has been embraced, and I have found now that there are so many people who look at a women's cricket match. I'm sometimes surprised that I'm just, going somewhere and somebody will start to tell me about a game that was played yesterday or a game played this morning, or I looked at the game that played today. So I'm seeing a lot more people now looking at women's cricket game. I think that the international, because of that women's cricket is so much on television now, that has assisted greatly. So people are able to sit in the comfort of their home and look at a women's cricket match and then realize, but wait, these girls are playing good cricket. I didn't know that these girls could play cricket like that. So you called some of the names just now, some of the household names of the Haley Matthews and Deandra or Stephanie Taylor that people have known for a number of years.
Yes,
But people are starting to get familiar with other names now. And I'm not only here in the Caribbean, but worldwide. You ask somebody, I was speaking to a guy recently, and he was actually calling all the international names and telling me, he has looked at this one and he has looked at that one. So people are paying attention to the cricket. Together with that, I think a lot of the girls have now started to realize that, but I can make a life off of this. I can make a living off of this. So not only the persons who are on contract, but when they also see that I can go and play in franchise tournaments, just like the gentlemen are doing. So they are starting to be female franchise tournaments all over the world, and therefore it's another avenue for them to make um, money, to get some money, to get some funding, to be able to again make a living out of sport. So I think with all these things coming together, we are starting to see not only women's cricket becoming more visible, not only are we seeing more people. Sometimes I switch on the TV and I go to three, four channels and a women's cricket game is being played because that is the important game on the day. That's the one that everybody wants to
Yes,
see.
yes, yes.
And, I think yesterday or day before, we had India scoring 340 runs or something in a ODI game. I think they're playing against South Africa or so. So people are seeing now that the women are batting, the women are making runs, the women are scoring, and I'm seeing them on television. And I think this is going in a very, very good direction for women's cricket.
Mm. So, not to get you into any trouble, but just recently, you follow sports in general, and you heard of the discussion with the women with Football USA, where the women were saying, "Listen, the disparity between us and the men's too great." You look at the NBA versus the WNB, and again, the disparity massive. Is the disparity between the male cricketers of CWI and the female a sole issue, or is there a greater level of what's the word I want to use, equality at play at in CWI
Are you referring to funding
in terms of, yes, in terms
or
of funding,
prize
yes,
money?
all of it, funding, prize money, pay, that type of thing.
Right, okay. So, as I said, women's cricket is developing. It continues to develop. I'll give an example. Just a few years ago, there was no prize money for women's cricket. We now have I'm speaking about in the Caribbean for our tournaments.
Right.
Prize money has been introduced, and then it was doubled, and then by this year gone here, the girls were playing for even more prize money. So we are
Okay.
seeing the growth in that. At the international level, the girls the prize money is going more and higher. And if I'm not incorrect, I've been told, I think within a certain time, the pay or the prize money for male and female is going to be the same. I
Okay.
don't want to say exactly if it's in a year or 2 years, because I am not sure exactly when it's going to be, but
Okay.
it's moving in that direction. But the girls are getting a lot more money now. It is not, I think, right now on par with the men, but it's getting there and is much better than it was before. So I
Okay.
think we will continue to push. We will continue to push to let that happen, but it is happening.
Okay. And that's good news for the ladies and good news for the sport in general. Let's talk a little bit about the tournament here. So far, what's your assessment of the tournament that is currently going on, both from the point of view of the hosting, the facilities that you have to practice on and to play on, as well as the actual tournament itself, the competitiveness and so forth among the teams.
Okay, from the organizational point of view, I have heard people have been very positive that everything has been in place. I have not heard so far, at least nobody has brought it to my attention, that there have been any issues. Everything, the girls go to the game, the grounds are ready, the transport is there, the everything that is supposed to be in place for a regional tournament is there. So I think that is something that we can definitely compliment the Windward Islands Association and St. Vincent Association and CWI for making happen. For the 2 or 3 years before that, we have had the tournament, the Super 50 and the T20 played in St. Kitts. It also was highly organized, very well organized, and this has been the same. My little concern has been the batting in the tournament. It has not been what we were expecting. So we have had the bowlers dominating the tournament. Now, when I think about it, I am saying, are the bowlers really dominating? Are they really that much better, or is it that the batting is weak and therefore it makes the bowlers look better? So it's it's kind of six of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm trying to work out, but the bowling has been on top. We have not been having as high scores as we would like. We I think so far we must have had either two or three scores that have been over 100, and that is not good for a T20 tournament. We need a lot higher scores than that. One of the things that we think could have affected it was the fact that the boundaries were very large when the tournament started. I think the boundaries were at 65. And, we have had men's tournaments played that the boundaries were 60. And the women's tournament, a international player told me that she doesn't think she has played an international tournament in recent years, that the boundaries have been beyond 60. So I think that was the organizers took that into consideration and brought the boundaries in line with where they're supposed to be for the midway through for the last round of matches. And I think we started to see a slightly larger score then. Because what do we want to see? We come to a T20 match. Everybody comes, they want to see fours, hits,
Fours
and
and
sixes.
sixes, of
But if we
course.
have the boundaries larger than a men's match, then that would pose a problem. But my concern is the batting. That we had recently Chanel Henry, West Indies player,
Mhm.
in the last match. She made for Jamaica, she made a 100, an even 100, and that was
Okay.
positive. We had the first match, I think we had another player, Rachel Vincent, scoring over 50, but we have not had a lot of half centuries. And as I said, Chanel has scored the only century. So I am hoping that in the next round of games tomorrow, which is the last preliminary round, and into the finals on Sunday, we can see some bigger scores. We really, really need to see some bigger scores.
What has the crowd support like been? What has the crowd support been like here at Anna's Vale? I know some of the games are in the middle of the day and people are at work and so forth, but you do
Yes,
have night
they have
games.
not been that large. I have found, okay, so we have three games every day, one at 10, one at 2:30, and one at 7. So as you would have rightly said, during the day, people are working, and so they do not come out as much. I have found for the evening match, you have a slightly larger crowd, and then I suppose if we know the home team crowd will always like to see their home team. So if Windward Islands is playing, you will get a bigger crowd, but the crowd is confined to one stand, and it would have been nice to see some more people out. So I'm hoping that as we have the last round tomorrow, which is very interesting because we have basically Guyana, who they would have more or less qualified, and we have four of the teams who can still qualify for the tournament. They are like 2 points away from each other. So that is, I think, Jamaica is in second place, Leewards is in third place, Trinidad and Tobago in fourth place, and Windward Islands in fifth place, but they have all won two matches. So any one of those four teams can be the team to qualify to play the final against Guyana. So with that, every game is an important game. I really hope that we can see some more crowd come out to those games tomorrow, and of course for the final on Sunday.
I was speaking to Shallow recently, and one of the things I mentioned, what was it, Shallow, or was it someone else? I can't remember, but I didn't think that there was a lot of promotion done, at least locally, through the local cricket association. I don't know how it is to be done because, for example, we just completed a T10 tournament here, and even at the final where you had a massive crowd, there wasn't even an announcement that this tournament was taking place 2 weeks later. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what level of promotion was done, how much of with the schools, to have the schools come down on a Friday evening, for example, tomorrow to look at the games and so forth. But all of those things could have been things that could have been done to really promote the games, promote the tournament, and have people coming out, because it's really good to have this tournament, West Indies regional tournament with the females here. It would have been really good to have that exposure for youngsters to see that there. So it's regrettable, but I hope we still have it tomorrow. And like you said, on Sunday, how many games on Sunday?
Sunday's one. So after tomorrow, two teams are going to qualify for the finals. The other 4 teams are going to go home, and just the 2 teams will remain for the final on Sunday.
Okay. Well, let's hope that there's we do have some crowds tomorrow. I really want that to happen, and also for Sunday. What time Sunday?
It's 6 p.m.
Okay.
The final is at 6 p.m. So tomorrow there are 3 matches, 10 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 7 p.m. And Sunday the final is at 6 p.m.
Coming out of this, you said that for the next year and a half or so, there are a number of tours and camps and series and so forth that will be coming up. Is there an expectation that out of this tournament there'll be the selection of a T20 squad for West Indies for the women's T20 team?
Well, actually, the team, Cricket West Indies, will probably announce it in the next day or two. But the team leaves on Monday, I believe it is, for England for a series, 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. So we have a team leaving on Monday. So CWI will probably make the announcement of the squad within a day or two. Yeah. So coming out of the tournament, we have had a team selection.
Fantastic. All right, Mrs. Browne-John, all right, Anne, thank you so much for joining. We are out of time, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us here on Uplift with Sion Marshall and to inform the Vincentian viewers and listeners about the tournament and also the overall development of women's cricket in our region and globally. I really would do my part in encouraging individuals to come out tomorrow night and on Sunday to view the matches. I'm sure it'll be exciting. I would probably try to make some time tomorrow and on Sunday as well, definitely. And I'm really looking forward to being there. So thank you so much for being a part of the program. I really appreciate your presence. And thank you so much for the information.
Thank you very much for having me, and you have been a great host.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Good night.
All right, okay, bye-bye.
That was Anne Browne-John. She is the talent manager for the senior West Indies women's cricket team. And she was just chatting with us about the tournament that's going on there and the development of women's cricket in our region. And we could have talked so much more, but unfortunately, we ran out of time. Now, those of you who are watching, and if you're in St. Vincent and Grenadines, listen, make some time to go see the matches. All right. We had a really good VPL, and I'm sure that tomorrow night's games and Sunday night game would be exciting, fun. So go out, take your family, see the games. We have a fantastic, well-lit stadium in Arnesville. Hey, make use of it until next week, Thursday. By the way, remember, Sunday afternoon, 4:30 to 6, Sunday SETI. My guest, Louis Daisley. All right. And let me congratulate Miss Toya, for winning her mug, being the first person to call in studio to any program that I host, Toya. Now, somebody would have an opportunity to win one on Sunday as well. First call to call SETI, but the first caller completely, totally, exclusively, Alam Kanali, Toya, who joined us tonight, calling in on Uplift with Sion Marshall. Until next week, Thursday night, when I'm back with you with another exciting program, Sion Marshall, on behalf of my director, saying good night and thank you for staying up late.